I've had a lot of people like, you can imagine. I get a lot of requests like, help me with shorts, please. If that's a friend, I will gladly help. I will warn you. I will warn you about the consequences of doing shorts, but if you decide that's what you want, then I will help. What are the consequences of shorts? The people who like to watch shorts are not necessarily the people who like to watch streams. Some of them do. The vast majority don't. I mean, it's with any form of content. If you're just gonna stick to one thing, then don't be surprised if people don't necessarily want to watch you do another. That's why people tend to drill in that it's important to keep doing what you want to do, otherwise the one thing that might pop off is completely off from what you want to make. Yeah, honestly, like, I'm more interested in doing long-form stuff, so that's kind of what happened with me in the shorts as well.
Same.
I do not blame management for encouraging me to make shorts because it fucking worked. Unfortunately, it worked in a way that would be much better for a person with different aspirations than I. If you did come from the shorts, this isn't like a, ugh. Shorts viewers.
Kids, just say kids, bro. It's kids.
Unless it's funnier that way, in which case it absolutely is, because I am nothing if not a little clown. But it's just like with any kind of content creation thing. If you mostly stream, don't be surprised if people aren't gonna watch you like do different styles of videos. Like I'll probably.
Okay, so now I'm curious, right? Because I do, like for Nous especially, I was actually thinking, I'm gearing up a lot of shorts ideas for her. Well, not just shorts ideas, but also short scripts. But like her niche is very far from the shorts viewers, from the fucking kids. And you know what? It might actually be bad to attract kids into the type of content that she does. So now I'm thinking, do I want her to... Do you want her to do shorts? Probably not. I'm gonna be real with you. Probably not. Cause chat, I am planning of actually giving Nous, like, a lot of my video ideas that are not necessarily drama oriented, but more VTubing related. Like for example, the whatchamacallit? The VTuber tropes series and shit like that. You know, like I want to give that off to her. You wanna know? You know what's worse than parasocial fans? Parasocial minors. True. Parasocial minors that are into your lewd shit. And then when they get fucking grouped on Discord servers, you get blamed for it for allowing it to happen. Because some of these people, they don't tell you they're a fucking minor until, like, you know, it's too late. Holy shit.
They start doing different stuff at some point, and if you're from the shorts and you don't really want to stick around from that, like, what fucking right do I have to complain if you're not being rude about it? I'll complain about the situation. I'll complain about the follies of human nature. But, like, I'm not gonna complain about... Stacy, I saw you unsubscribed from my YouTube channel. You bitch! No, you can't be... You can't be unreasonable like that. If you don't do what you want to do when it comes to content creation, you'll just be driven insane. Especially if you want to do this as like a job. Like, you gotta make money. That's obvious, but like, there are different ways of making money. I very much am going in with the mentality right now of like, you know, I want to save up my house and shit. And I'd quite like to do it the way that I want to do it, if that makes sense.
Respectable.
Because I know, like, because genuinely, with shorts, and like, this isn't complaining about the audience, but like, genuinely, you know, do I feel like I have 800,000 subscribers? No.
I know exactly how that feels. Chat, when you reach a milestone as a content creator, it doesn't really feel like anything. Because there are numbers on the screen. You know that it's a big deal, but for some reason you can't feel like it's a big deal. I have 100k subscribers right now, chat. I have 100k subscribers right now, but I feel the same way as I did when I used to have like 10k subscribers. So like, you know, I have that happen to me.
Do I feel like I have 800,000 subscribers? No. I get a lot of pushback when I say that, and like, I understand. But like, I'd rather have gotten, I would rather I had gotten to this level.
No, it's even worse than that because she had 100k subs, but most of them don't interact with her regular content, so she feels like she has 100k at most.
I'm on right now. Bye.
What's Rin Penrose's like, CCV? Well, that's pretty decent. This is way bigger than an Nijisanji stream. This is way bigger than Finana's even.
Doing content that I'm like more satisfied with, I think. Like if you enjoyed the shorts, good for you. And I'm glad, like, it also looks like a lot of content creators kind of looked at the shorts and went, oh, that's a good idea. I'll have some of that. And honestly, like, don't blame you. I'm happy for everyone who enjoyed the shorts.
Uh-huh.
But now I think it's about time that I started making the kind of content that I'd actually like to watch. What makes you happy, Rin? Whatever you do, true fans will support you. I appreciate the sentiment. I'm not gonna say that if you don't want to watch, like, when I change my content or whatever, that you're not like, you were never a real fan. I feel like you can be a fan of a certain era of someone's content, for lack of a better term. Also, $500. You love to see
Coco,
it.
yeah.
I'm probably gonna, like, bring in a new audience, and it's gonna be a little bit different, but...
Shorts are a loss leader. I don't know about... Yes, maybe they are a shorts leader, but I don't know. Probably not, I'd like to think.
It's good to have, like, the baseline audience, I think. I can't remember who I was speaking about this to the other day, but I had a chat with someone. Basically, like, before you get really big and your audience kind of explodes, you kind of want, like, a base viewership.
Uh-huh.
Because that's kind of going to guide how the rest of the new people coming in start acting. So, like, any of you who decide to stick around for, like, new stuff, once I start changing things up.
You need to call your fan base and weed out the people that don't want to be there, actually. Right? Like, for example, if you want to do, if you have a content that's, like, somewhat political, or, like, you have a certain political leaning or fucking whatever, probably get rid of the bad apples. At least bad apples relative to your personal view. You know?
Are probably going to be like the baseline for the vibes. So new people are going to be coming in and they'll be like, oh, this is how we behave around here. So if you could behave like nicely, that'll be wonderful. Thank you. I mean, there's a lot of reasons really why you think you want to like blow up instantly. No, it's not going to help you. You want a baseline.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You want to figure out what actual content you want to make, but you don't want to go viral right away because it's not as helpful as you'd think it is. There is a difference between going viral and becoming successful. That Venn diagram, not a circle. Two different circles, slightly overlapping. Going viral is not like success, it's an opportunity to get success, if that makes sense. You don't get successful off of like one successful post or one thing that gets 1 million views. I mean, even in like the VTuber community, right? Like, I shouldn't call anyone out just because that is going to look a little bit like punching down, isn't it? But I can definitely think of examples where, what's this person doing now? Oh, well, they didn't really, like, you can't really, like, blame people for not properly leveraging a situation because it just comes in so suddenly, right? I mean, in my case, it's like, you know,
I think that's actually like, I think that's actually a good point. There are actually a lot of agencies in VTubing right now that popped off for a while but was not really properly able to leverage that. I think the biggest example on top of my head is actually Prism Project and Project Kawaii. Or Production Kawaii, sorry. Like, I remember when Nene Amano popped off, she was the only one that popped off in the agency. The rest kinda really did not follow, and I feel like part of the reason why that happened was because the agency and whatchamacallit, and Nene was not really properly able to promote the agency and her genmates as well. I mean, it could be different because the thing about Nene Amano's audience is that they're parasocial coomers. You know, Nene does a lot of GFE and a lot of sexual stuff, so it's fine, right? But there are also occasions like that. Stuff that happened in Tunderia, stuff that happened in Sniper Live, a lot of other old VTuber agencies that exploded right now. Yeah, exactly, Azihara. Tsundere, I think, was like one of the big examples too. And it's pretty sad. I think Tsundere had it probably one of the worst in small corpo EN industry because Tsundere was here before Hololive came. Like, they were here since like fucking August or June or something, right? And they were the first, but they were never really able to capitalize on the market. And there were times when they get noticed, but it just wasn't coming, you know? It didn't come. And again, it's like what Rin said. I can't necessarily blame them, right? Like sometimes when you pop off, you don't exactly know how to. You don't exactly know what happens. It's like winning the lottery right now, chat. You win the lottery, you suddenly get like you get a phone call from your dad, like literally the next hour, and he says that you have $10 million. What the fuck are you gonna do with it? Right? Like obviously, I think you're going to be very, very confused, probably very anxious, probably very excited, and very scared. All of these mixture of feelings, and most of the time, you let these feelings carry you over, and you're going to make really, really, really bad mistakes. Yep. I'm gonna, I'm gonna come. Jesus Christ, chat. Yeah, man. I think Face Connect. I mean, I don't want to glaze on Face Connect a little too much, right? But I think Face Connect was, I think they capitalized on Pipa and Tenma's like popularity really well. Pipa got popular because of her shorts, because of her controversies, and they really, really hinge in on that. Yeah. Just because they were just characters, while in Hololive they feel more like real people who play games and create content for fun. No, Kaladin Stormy, that's not how VTubing works. In VTubing, they don't feel or they shouldn't feel like real people who play games and stuff. In Hololive, I see them. They often act like they're characters. It's because they are. Yeah. So it's interesting she says that. Because I do think she's seen or experienced a lot of content creators or agencies who were in the crux of greatness but just couldn't find that one push.
I know a lot of eyes are going to be on me next week because of the going indie thing. And I'm very much trying to make sure that I use that to my advantage. Because I want to be able to turn around and be like, you know, whilst you're here, can I interest you in a bunch of silly little guys? Woo! I'm not going to see much success just by virtue of like, oh, a lot of people are looking at me because I'm leaving the company or whatever. I can't rely on just that. I have to work with that. Going viral is something you have to like work aside. That's not the win condition. It's like how getting into an agency isn't the win condition. It's something you have to work with. I mean, I feel like there's definitely a lot of VTubers where like they debut and then you never really hear about them again. Because they don't really take full advantage of, you know, if you have a lot of eyes on you, you kind of want to make an impression. And you...
I see a lot of indies actually blame, indies and small corpo agencies that blame their agencies for this. Small corpo VTubers rather. They blame agencies for the fact that after they debut, they don't pop off. I feel like after a VTuber debut, after a VTuber agency gives you the resources and the materials to debut, and then we'll have the resources and materials to support all the endeavors that you might want to have in the future, you can't really blame them if you're not popping off as a VTuber. Right? I don't think so.
You kind of want to keep following through with that, especially because there are so many people debuting. We've slowed down from the VTuber boom, but like it's still competitive when it comes to debuts and stuff. I do feel the need to remind people like, it's not 2018, you're not Keys Not I. It's not 2020, you're not like Hollow EN Gen 1. You are not going to get attention for being like, for just being a VTuber. Maybe you can find novelty in like being the first VTuber in the whatever community. I don't know
that's
if
not
that's
gonna
really
work.
viable anymore.
That's not gonna work.
Maybe it's something to think about. Like here's my hot take. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I haven't heard this before, so. If Kizna I debuted today in the same way that she did like back in, was it 18? Oh, I don't remember. But if Kizna I like debuted the same way she did
2017
in, let's say it's 2018, she would not be like one of the biggest VTubers.
I mean, the thing is, Kizuna I was the one that actually started that way of debuting. Chat, you know how VTuber agencies, Kizuna I and a lot of VTubers debuted back then? Back when it was just 3D body and motion captured stuff? It's like this. You make a self-introduction video where you're just like, hi domo, Kizuna I desu, you know, you introduce yourself and you talk about your games. It's basically a debut video. You talk about your interests, your nicknames, all these sorts of shit within a 2 to 5 minute video. Next video is gonna be a challenge, a singing challenge, a gaming challenge, whatever, and then like you do whatever going forward. Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of the reason, like, she worked with it, absolutely. I'm not saying it was all luck or whatever. But one of the reasons...
And then everybody started copying that format, by the way. I distinctly remember Kaguya Luna doing the same thing. I don't remember if Mirai Akari did the same thing. I remember Tokino Sora? Tokino Sora did the same thing. I remember Zero did the same thing.
Really popped off was just because she was like the first VTuber, and everyone was like, this is a new thing, that's very interesting, we will watch your career with great interest. And like, thank God she actually, like, you know, set up all of that kind of those genre conventions, because it did work out well for the rest of us. But it's kind of in the same way as, like, you know, anyone doing an old YouTube meta wouldn't be like as successful as they were back in the day. But you kind of have to remember that you can't just keep doing the same things that everyone else has been successful with, because it's... I'll just buy 2 of these.
You're just... it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work because you're basically doing what everybody is doing. That's like the meta. You do what the meta does, the meta eventually becomes obsolete. Until somebody rediscovers a very cool way of debuting and presenting themselves, everybody follows it again, it gets old, and another person makes a new way of re-debuting again. You know, the circle of life. Circle of life.